Hey everybody, my name is Rob Woodbridge from Untethered.tv. What you're about to see here is a clip, a short clip of a much longer episode. It can be found on Untethered.tv. So if you really are interested in this, go to Untethered.tv, do a search for this title, and you'll find it there. But enjoy this short clip. Well, you know, I've always said this. I love what you guys are doing. I love the niche that you guys play in. But you know, I always think like, so what's next for them? What's next for them? So Simple Geo was last November, in November 2011, or October 2011, and so I do want to talk about this acquisition of Tello. But in the last year, what have you seen? What shifted for you guys? You know, from a year ago, messaging, and has anything shifted for you guys in the industry as it's grown?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's happening is, you know, this channel, this smartphone channel, is really starting to mature. And just like with the web before it, you know, we saw developers come first. They were the early adopters, and you know, we saw a bunch of companies appear during the late '90s and early, you know, turn of the century that were very focused on that developer ecosystem. You know, we're no different. How we got our start. And if you ask folks today, a lot of them will say, "Oh yeah, Urban Airship, they're those guys who do push for developers." And what we found is that, you know, as a channel starts to mature, the marketers show up and they bring their deeper pocketbooks and their insatiable appetite for ROI and, you know, being able to understand and engage their audiences. And so we've really made this sort of shift over the last year, and it's, you know, just the customers who are showing up. But, you know, our goal is really to be able to help our customers drive that lifetime value out of their end users, out of their customers, through engaging and compelling experiences through their mobile devices. And, you know, at the core of that is messaging. But there's so many other pieces around that, with location and you know, being able to do you know, campaigns that effectively engage these users. And so we think of it more than just apps and messaging. It's how do I, considering every single person on the planet in the next 5 years is going to have one of these in their hands, and it's never going to be more than 3 feet. You know, how can we be the fabric of the industry around messaging for that? And so that's a broad, a really big vision for us. And so that was part of the reason why we looked at Tello, because we saw passes as a really great way. They're like mini apps, and it really opened up our audience for us. And again, it's still, once you get that pass on the device, to manage it, you have to use push, right, to update it. And then, of course, there's a location component, because you want that pass to appear when the user's in the right place at the right time. And so, you know, we knew Joe Benenato and the Tello crew from True Ventures. We had a mutual investor, and we got to know each other, and it just was a natural fit. I mean, we did the deal really, really quickly, and they've been phenomenal, and having the additional office down in Palo Alto, it's a different talent pool that we can go after too. And you know, we're kind of getting good at these acquisitions, I think. So
yeah, acquisitions and then action on the acquisitions, and that's what I love. Is that you know, this is no you know, Apple acquiring Siri and then 2.5 years later rolling it out. Like you guys were obviously working together with Tello, maybe leading into this acquisition, but it was almost like Tello acquisition, bang, product out. You know, I mean, you're out now. I mean, I had a great chance to interview Joe when Tello was a different company. Before a pivot, right, that brought them into the Passbook. And you know, it's an interesting thing. Like I think that Passbook is an unsung hero. It's a, you know, it's a low hanging fruit for companies that want to get into mobile and get into this entire you know, push world or communications world with their customer, and not have to fork over hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it. Right? It's a very, very, very effective way to be in front of, you know, potentially, you know, 160 million people on the iOS platform.
We actually just hosted a webinar with the MMA yesterday, and I mean, it was the most attended webinar they've ever had. I mean, it was amazing, and it was Joe and then our CMO Brett Higelke who led folks through an hour-long discussion about the opportunity around passes, and then, you know, of course, we talked a little bit about the product as well. You know, we've got a great relationship with the MMA. I'm a huge fan of Greg Stewart, who's their global CEO. We actually won the MMA Global Enabling Technology Company of the Year last year. And so, you know, I'm a huge fan of industry and sort of trade organizations because it's about, those organizations help, raise the bar, and it's a rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. So anyways, so we've been really excited about working with these guys.
Okay, so tell me, how important is Passbook, or are these passes for you guys? Now that you've kind of sunk your teeth into Tello and you started to roll this out, obviously there's a lot of interest in this, but is there still confusion in the market? What are you seeing?
It's when we did the survey on the webinar yesterday, probably about I think there were 15 to 20% of the people were like in process and building products and wanted to see if there was an opportunity to work with folks like us. And then everybody else was sort of gathering information. And what we're seeing is, it feels a lot like Push did, 3.5 years ago. People were sort of like dabbling in it. But what we found is that, a lot of these folks already have an app, and they're realizing, wow, these passes can really augment that app. And they're helping drive more downloads of their app. But it's a great way to kind of, engage, a lightweight way to engage with a brand through these passes. And it opens up, the types of customers we can go after because they don't have to have an app. But we can actually shepherd them through this whole thing, saying, hey, why don't you start with passes, and then maybe you can do an app, and then figure out how you engage that consumer over time.